Today I'll be showing you how to make 100% pen scrolling platform. It's not really complicated, but okay. So the first thing we're going to do is, oh yeah, by the way, this is not 100% pen actually. Because it has a costume, but anyways, let's just get started. So let's just make a hitbox. So hold down shift to make a perfect square and then put it over there in the center. And then, so the first thing we're going to do is adding the physics. So when green flag clicked forever, and then an if, and then two ifs. And then make two variables called x velocity and y velocity. X velocity. And make sure all of the variables are for this sprite only. So, y velocity. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is set them to 0 when green flag is clicked. So, sorry if you hear any background noise, but okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is add in a key right arrow and key left arrow pressed, and then change x velocity by 1, and then change x velocity by -1, and then set x velocity to x velocity times 0.9. Again, if you hear any bad quality audio, blame my computer, not me, because I can't help my computer. But the next thing we're going to do is add in change x by x velocity, and then we need an if touching color black, then change y by 1, and then duplicate it, and then this time it's a bit different, so you don't have to put it inside of the if, but so then you duplicate it 4 times, and then the 5th time you change y by -4, because 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4, and then you subtract 4, and then for wall detection you add in change x by x velocity times -1, so then it's not, and so then the player won't be going through walls. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is add in wall jumping. So adding 2 if then else's, and then the second if then else is going to be inside of the if, inside of the if then else. So then we need a key up arrow is pressed, and then set y velocity to 17. So set y velocity to 17, and then we're going to add in if x velocity is greater than 0, then set x velocity to -10, and then else set it to 10, +10. And then in the other else, we set it to set x velocity to 0. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is add in a change y velocity by -1 at the top, and then we're going to change y by y velocity over here, and the order is really important, so I recommend you follow along. And then the next thing we're going to do is add in an if, and then touching color black. Then to make him not fall through the floor, we add in a change y velocity, change y by y velocity times times -1, and then we set y velocity to 0. Okay, and then the next thing we want to do is add in jumping. So to add in jumping, we want to have a change y by -1 and if, so two ifs, so if and then another if inside. So if key up arrow is pressed, then if touching color black, then set y velocity to something like 13, and then to not mess up the ground detection, we add in a change y by 1. Okay, so as you can see, we need to add in a ground. So this is just for testing only, but so if we add in a ground that has a black outline, we can jump and everything is okay. But we want to turn the player to pen, right? So the first thing we're going to do is put this into a custom block, call it whatever you want, it's like do physics, and then run without screen refresh, and then do physics, forever do physics, and then okay, so as we saw before, it should work. So let's just change the ground to pen right now. So let's add in a custom block, call it draw ground, draw line from, and then x1, and then x1 and y1, and then 2, x2 and y2, and then run without screen refresh. So let's just clean this up. Okay, and then so we're going to adding the pen extension. So you press this button over here and then add in pen. So let's just pen up, let's add in a pen up, and then go to x and y, x1, y1, pen down, and then go to x2 and y2. So you probably already know this, but pen up is basically not making the sprite. So pen basically makes the sprite draw what you want it to do. So if you do pen up, then the sprite doesn't draw, and then if you do pen down, then it does. So this is a custom block that is easier to tell where you want to go. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is add in another custom block called draw ground. And then let's just clean this up. Okay, and then for draw ground, we want to set the pen color to black, and then set the pen size to something like 32, and then, or maybe 40, and then we want to draw a line from negative 235 to and y negative 160 to 235 and negative 150. Or I mean 60. So okay, so to make the long story short, we first draw the ground, and then the player goes back to the original position, and then it does the physics. So if we add in and so in the forever loop we have the do physics, and then we also want to erase all in front of do physics, so inside of the forever loop, and then before the do physics want to draw ground. So first we draw the ground, and then we want to do the physics. So Right now it won't work because the player is stuck in the ground. So, hold on a sec. We just need to add in two variables called px and for this sprite and py for this sprite. Okay, and then the next thing we want to add in is to set px and py to 0. So this is your choice if you want the this to scroll, or I think I would save the scrolling for the next tutorial, but and for now just set px and py to 0. It doesn't really matter right now. Okay, and then we want to also go to 0, 0. So go to x 0 and y 0. Let's save the project, and then we want to forever set px and py. So p stand for player x, player y. So we want to set them to x position and y position. In this case, 0. So we don't really need this yet, but let's just put it aside because we'll need them later. Okay, so for this we want to set them to x position and y position, and then before the do physics we want to go to the original position, so go to px and py. Okay, this I don't know if you think this makes sense, but it does for me. So anyways, so it's the same controls as before. So for some reason it's not working. Let's just check our code. Oh yeah, I know. So py. Oh, and then this should be x. px. Sorry about that. So it should be fine now, but we want the player to also be pending, because right now it's hitbox and it's a costume, so we want to eventually hide the player and then make it pen thing. So we need to make a block called draw square. So in case you don't know, pen is really kind of complicated. So we try to make the players like circles or squares, so then they're easier to make. And then because if we animate it, it would be way too hard. So so draw square at center x and center y, and then add in and size, and then add in side length. Okay, and then run without screen refresh. All of these blocks are run without screen refresh, so let's just double check. Okay, so let's just clean this up, and then who's the block? Okay, and then we want to add in pen up at the beginning, and then go to xy, so go to center x plus side length divided by 2. And I don't know why this is divided by 2, but it says so in the tutorial that I used. Okay, and then y, and then you duplicate this, center y plus side length divided by 2, and then we want to do pen down, and then go to center x. Okay, so we will just duplicate this, and then go to center x plus side length divided by -2, and then change the y to -2, and then change the x back to 2, and then we duplicate this again. Okay, and then we want to again pen up. So the 2 pen ups are just for so that we don't accidentally draw something. Okay, so let's make a custom block, call it drop layer. So same thing as kind of like draw ground, but different. So draw layer, and then run without screen refresh, and then we can set the pen color to whatever you want. I will choose blue because blue is my second favorite color, and I don't know how you ultrafiled it. So okay, so set pen color to this blue color, and then set the pen size to I'd say like something, well, for now let's just do 8. And then we have the draw square at, and then we do px and py. And then size, whatever you want the size to be, I'll choose 5. So right now it's the same, but because we haven't added it in the forever loop, so in the forever loop we want to add it in, so let's just go over here. So right now it has to do physics, and then we need to set px and py to x position and y position, and then we want to draw the player, and then we want to go to x, px, py. Okay, and then so it works, it should work. So if we hide this, then yeah, see, it works. You see the pen over there, but the size is terrible. Let's just change it to 10, or maybe like 20. Yeah, and then set the pen size to like 30, and change it back to 10, or maybe 5. Okay, so that looks like a pretty decent square with rounded corners, but maybe I'll change it to 4, and then pen size 25. Well, that kind of looks like a circle. So you can make a square with rounded corners with pen. You just have to experiment with it. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Yeah, it's a keeper. So to make this a bit easier, we can actually remove the pxpy at the beginning. Well, let's stop the project, and then we have to add in this at the beginning. So and then we want to erase all draw ground, go to player x, player y, do physics. Okay, so the order is wrong, so we want to draw ground and then do physics. Well, no, it's right. And then we can remove the last go to pxpy. So it should be the same. It's a bit laggy because I'm using QuickTime Player on Mac, but it's supposed to be okay for this. Okay, and then and so this is the first part of making a pen, 100% pen platformer. I think I'll make it scrolling and then add in obstacles, level goals, stuff like that in the next tutorial. By the way, this is actually, let's just go over here and then, so this is, let me just find it first because, okay, so let's go to my favorite projects, go to the 5th page, and then I think it's this one. Yeah. So I'm using this, but I did these by memory. So this is scratch.mit.edu/projects/357866221/. But I think I will paste it to the link below. Anyways, this is the first part of my 100% scrolling pen platformer tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.